Welcome to Healthy Mama Hacks, a weekly mini podcast where I share my best tips for hacking your healthy mama life with simple tips for easier eating, cooking, and living a healthy mama life in 20 minutes or less. Let's do this, mama. Hey friends, welcome back to Healthy Mama Hacks. Chris here. And over the last couple of weeks on Healthy Mama Hacks, we've been talking about grocery shopping and figuring out how to make meal planning just altogether easier. Meal planning is something that I love to talk about because I think it can just make creating meals and getting meals on the table so much less stressful having a plan, but the idea of actually planning meals and grocery shopping is more daunting than the actual execution itself. And I want to take away that fear, make it feel less daunting, and give you some hacks, some easy strategies to make all of these things easier: meal planning, grocery shopping, and getting meals on the table. So today, I want to talk about a strategy that I've been using for a couple years now that really helps me simplify grocery shopping and meal planning, and that is to do a monthly stock up. So what is a monthly stock up? A monthly stock up is ultimately two things. It's a list and then an action that I take every single month to make sure that I have the basic things I need on hand to make simple meals, or the things on hand that I use for the meals on our family favorites list on a regular basis. It's basically keeping my pantry stocked. For the most part, it's my pantry. Sometimes I'll also stock up on fresh items, and I will talk about that as well, at freezer items specifically. But the monthly stock up is mostly pantry items that I know I'm going to use every single month. And so when I do a monthly stock up, it's helping me keep my pantry stocked, so when I'm going to go ahead and do my meal plan, I can look in my pantry and my freezer when I stock up on freezer items and go, okay, these are the things I already have to use in my recipes. It reduces the amount of time I need to spend figuring out pantry items for my grocery list, and it gives me some ideas to go off of when it comes to planning meals. I'm not just starting with a blank slate every single week. I go, okay, I have these proteins on hand. I have these grains on hand. How can I utilize these as bases for my meals? Realistically, the monthly stock up just makes my grocery shopping so much easier because I'm not doing big shops every single week. I'm still doing little shops weekly for fresh items, but when it comes to our pantry staples and our freezer staples, those things are just in our freezer pretty much all the time because I've gotten to the point where I know the things that we need. I know the things we use in recipes on a regular basis, or meals. Doesn't have to be recipes. It can be meal ideas as well. And I have those things on hand. So I'm not worrying about going and stocking up on cans of beans or coconut milk or bags of rice. I've done that shopping ahead of time. So it's important just to take more of the stress out of grocery shopping and also out of meal planning. So how do you create a monthly stock up list, and how do you actually do a monthly stock up yourself? So creating a monthly stock up list is easy when you already have your family favorites list. So I will link the episode I did with the 2 lists you need to make meal planning a breeze, and that's your family favorites list and your recipes to try list. But if you have your family favorites list, especially if you have a seasonal family favorites list, because your monthly stock up will probably change seasonally, you can go through and figure out the pantry staples that you need based on those family favorite meals. See how all of these things work together and make your life so much easier? So you can go through and go, okay, I have a few recipes that use canned coconut milk. I have a handful of recipes that use chickpeas, so I'll either buy canned or dried chickpeas, black beans, lentils. You have a bunch of recipes that use tahini sauce. You can go through, spices that you might need to stock up on that you go through on a regular basis so you can get them in bulk instead of buying them in those little jars every single month. That's just going to save you a couple of bucks here and there. There are so many things that you can go through and just go, okay, these are the things that I typically go through on a monthly basis. The other thing that can be really helpful is to keep a list on your fridge when you run out of things and to write those things down. And then when it comes to doing your monthly stock up, you can go, oh, okay, I need soy sauce, I need olive oil, I need avocado oil. It's really helpful to write down a list of the things that you know you use in your kitchen every single day or every single week before you even go through your family favorites list. That'll be kind of a great place to start with your monthly stock up. For us, it's things like, and I'll go through my whole list after, but avocado oil and sea salt we get every couple of months, and spices, like I mentioned. There are things that we use on a regular basis that I know are just going to be a part of my monthly stock up. And so I start there, and then you can add in the items from your family favorites list or vice versa, whichever way works for you. But that's where you're going to start. And then you're going to start writing down the things that you're out of, and you'll start to notice patterns. When you do this for a couple months, these are the things I'm out of every month, and so I need to add those to my monthly stock up instead of adding extra things to my grocery list. When you do this, you can also save money. And because oftentimes when you're doing a monthly stock up, you can use it at either a bulk store, so a place like Costco or BJ's or Sam's Club, or you can do it at a place, an online purveyor like Amazon or Thrive Market, which is what we use, and they have a huge discount compared to like Whole Foods or your regular grocery store. I actually find the regular grocery store even more expensive than Whole Foods in many cases. The Whole Foods 365 brand is very inexpensive. And so I do some of my stock up there if I happen to be in the area. Our Whole Foods is about 45 minutes away. So sometimes I do want to go for supplements or specialty items, and I'll do our monthly stock up there. But then I adjust my monthly stock up on Thrive Market. I don't buy the same things twice. I just go, oh, I'm already here and these things are on sale, and so I'll buy those things. But I've been doing this for a while. I recommend you choose a place and you stick with it for a while and see if it's working for you. So it's a great way to save money. It's a great way to lessen the load on your weekly grocery shops. And it is a really great way to really hone in on your budget as well, when you can really see, okay, this is how much I'm spending on my monthly stock ups. This is how much I'm spending weekly, because oftentimes we forget about that monthly stock up when it comes to our budget, and budgeting is something I will for sure talk about in the future because it's something I'm also very passionate about, because I don't think that eating well needs to be expensive. And this is one really good way to do that. So start with your family favorites list. Start with the things that you know you use on a regular basis. And don't forget breakfast and lunch as well. So what pantry staple items, we'll start with that, do you use on a regular basis for breakfast and lunch? For us, it's things like oats and chia seeds and nut butters we use on a regular basis as well. And so those are things that we always have in our monthly stock up. I drink smoothies a lot. So I always get protein powder and nut butter, and I will also get almonds or cashews because I like to make homemade nut milk for that as well. And those are things that we keep in our monthly stock up. And so you'll start to compile a list as you start making this a part of your routine. So that's the first step, is to compile a list. Second step is to decide where you're going to buy these things from. And the third is to decide when you're going to buy these things. So the first month you do it, it might not be the perfect timing because you might already be out of things and you might need them before you get those things in. But just start where you are. Decide when would be a good time. On Thrive Market, you can kind of choose the day that your auto ship goes out. So ours is kind of, it changes for some reason. I'm not sure exactly why, but it changes every month, I believe. It's like around the end of the month, every single month. So it comes in right at the beginning of the month. So I know at the beginning of the month, I'm going to get a whole stock up. By that point, my pantry is pretty cleared out, and I'm going to stock my pantry back up with those items. And then I can go through and start planning my meals based on the things that I have on hand. You could also do the same thing if you have like a Costco nearby. We don't have a Costco nearby us, which is so sad. We used to have one when we lived in Toronto and I loved it. We have a BJ's, but it's just honestly not as good as Costco. So we do Thrive Market, and that just works for us. Thrive Market is kind of like Amazon Prime. It's a membership, but it's been well worth it for us because the prices on everything from like bath items and supplements, as well as things like snacks and pantry staples, is just way less expensive than anywhere else we could get them. So we love it. So that's what we use. But you can use whatever works for you. So I figured I would go through and just kind of share with you guys what was on my monthly stock up list to give you a little bit of inspiration for what you might want to put on your monthly stock up list. Ours might look completely different based on the type of meals that you eat, but these are the things, literally the things that were in my Thrive Market box last month, because these are the things that we use on a regular basis. So the first thing I already mentioned are nuts and seeds. Most of the time, this is just nuts. I buy cashews and almonds every single month because I like to alternate almond milk and cashew milk just for flavor purposes and just so I'm not, drinking the same thing every single week in my smoothies. And I also love making cashew cream sauce. And so we buy those every single month. Grains, quinoa and rice are our staple grains, and we just get the white jasmine rice and the sprouted quinoa, the Thrive Market brand. That's a great budget tip, by the way, is to use the store brand. It's always going to be less expensive, and it's the same thing. And this is really, really inexpensive sprouted quinoa and organic rice, so it's awesome. Beans, dried and or canned. I buy both just because sometimes life happens and I don't get to prepping the beans for meal prep and I want the canned version. But I like dried beans because they're more cost effective, they're better for the environment, all the things. And I like cooking them in the Instant Pot. It makes them easier to digest. And so we get canned and dried beans. And so for us, that is chickpeas, black beans, and white beans. We use those on a regular basis. We don't tend to use things like black-eyed peas or pinto beans. So those aren't on our list. There's a lot of pantry staples lists out there that you can go through and buy all the things on the list, but make sure that you're buying the things that you actually use because there's no reason to have 4 cans of pinto beans if you are never going to use them. But if you do have 4 cans of pinto beans, please do me a favor and make some refried beans. Yum. Pasta and pizza sauce are also on the list because we love to have pizza night in our house. Canned tomatoes, so this is diced tomatoes, and we like fire roasted and regular diced tomatoes and tomato paste. Pasta. We like getting Banza chickpea pasta and then just regular pasta as well. We typically do brown rice because I do better with a little bit less gluten. It's just I have IBS and so that just feels better in my body. But I can kind of afford to eat gluten when I really want it and I don't irritate my stomach. So it's a lot less expensive when we buy it on Thrive because gluten-free pasta can be a little bit more expensive. We get flour for sourdough bread and for pizza. That's a delicious gluten experience for me. Olive oil, avocado oil, nut butters. Sometimes I'll get these actually a lot of the time, I will also get these at Trader Joe's because I love the Trader Joe's nut butters, but they're still on my staples list. I typically, just as a quick aside, do a larger shop at Trader Joe's once a month as well as the monthly stock up. These are kind of my pantry staples. And then I do have specific items that I get at Trader Joe's. Trader Joe's is right down the street from Whole Foods. So it's about 40 minutes away. So we don't go very often, but it is near my mom's house. So when I'm up at my mom's house or my kids are at my mom's house, if I drop them off, I'll go to Trader Joe's about once a month. So some of these specialty items I will get there, but more often than not, it's from Thrive. Okay. Other things I get, coffee beans. I like half-calf coffee because, again, IBS, it's better for my digestive system. So I will get decaf and regular, and we like to grind them fresh because we're kind of coffee snobs and we're not afraid to say it. Condiments, depending on the time of the year. Avocado oil mayonnaise is one of those. I like to make it myself with that avocado oil I mentioned, but I like to have it on hand too because we love mayo-based salads like chicken salad or coleslaw, and I also use a bit of it in my homemade salad dressing as an emulsifier. So I love having mayonnaise on hand. Primal Kitchen is my favorite brand, and they also have some really delicious, they have a chipotle lime and a pesto mayonnaise, and those are really yummy with like tuna, as well as in chicken salad as well. So I like having those on hand. So other condiments as well, depending on the season. We don't use a lot of ketchup and mustard in the fall and winter, but we do in the spring and summer when we're grilling and things like that. So we'll get condiments, sauces, and dressings. So I will typically buy 1 or 2 salad dressings. Primal Kitchen is another that's another thing that Primal Kitchen makes I really like is their dressings. The ingredients are great. They're just really simple and they're really, really tasty. So we'll get dressings and then sauces. I love the enchilada sauces from Frontera. And it's like been a dream of mine to go to Frontera in Chicago. So if you've been, can you go ahead and send me a DM on Instagram and let me know how amazing it was? I love Rick Bayless and I would love to go there one day. So let me know if you're in Chicago and you've been to Frontera. But I love his sauces, and his enchilada sauces are ones I always stock up on because we love to make easy enchiladas for dinner. We get both the green and the red because even though our kids aren't huge fans of spicy food, they're not too spicy for the kids. We get crackers, Simple Mills crackers and Jovial Foods are 2 of our favorites. Applesauce for the kids, and then bars and just other kind of snacky type food for the kids. Things like meat sticks. They love the New Primal and Vermont sticks. And so those are just easy protein-rich snacks for the kids to have. And then different types of bars. They like the This Bar Saves Lives bars and Z bars. I think those are the main ones that we typically get on Thrive. And so we'll get those for them too, just to have some easy snacks on hand. And then we'll fill in with some other items too. If we need household items or we need kind of bath items, things like that, we'll get those as well. But for the most part, those are the things that are in our box each and every month. So I did want to mention really quick, the other thing that we stock up on every month is meat. So it's really important to us to get really well-sourced meat. And as much as we try and shop local, unfortunately, we live on a small island in literally the smallest state. And so local meat is really, really expensive and it's just cost prohibitive for us. So our solution to eating meat that is raised really well and makes us feel really good is ButcherBox. And no, they don't sponsor me. I do have a referral code. If you want to get free meat, I will put it in the show notes below, but they're not paying me to talk about them. We've been using them for 3 or 4 years now. I've totally lost count. And we get meat from them every 1 to 2 months, depending on how many plant-based meals we eat in between, just based on how much we want. We have a monthly box that I just edit a couple days before. I put a reminder on my calendar and I edit it a couple days before it's going to ship out. They come to us in dry ice and we get things like ground meat and chicken and like we get the whole chicken, or we'll get chicken tenders or chicken thighs or chicken breasts to shred for those enchiladas I mentioned. And we'll also get wild-caught salmon from them. Their bacon is the best. So we love using ButcherBox for meat as well. And so then we have our fridge stocked with good quality meat. And that is just an easy way to have those on hand so we can go off of that when we're creating our meal plan rather than getting meat at the grocery store. So it just takes more of the stress out of grocery shopping. So that has been hugely, hugely helpful for us as well. So our monthly stock up is basically 2 parts. It's those pantry staples as well as the meat, but you are welcome to do it in whatever way works for you. I'm not here to tell you what to do. I'm here to share with you some suggestions to make meal planning, meal prep, and balanced living just easier for you. That's why this is Healthy Mama Hacks. So I hope you got some tips from this, just in me sharing what works for me and what's worked for the women I've worked with. And I hope that you will create your very own monthly stock up list based on the things that you guys eat on a regular basis and the things that you use on a regular basis. So I would love for you to go ahead and connect with me. If you learned something from this, if you have specific monthly stock up items that you're like, this is what we stock up on, and you want to tell me about them, find me on Instagram. I'm at Healthy Mama Chris. That's Chris with a K. My DMs are always open. I would love to chat with you and hear how you're doing, hear how Healthy Mama Hacks and the Healthy Balanced Mama podcast as a whole have been helping you. And if you have not yet joined the Healthy Balanced Mamas Facebook community, you have to join us. It's facebook.com/Healthy Balanced Mamas. It is the place to connect with other like-minded moms who want to live a healthy, balanced life. We share meal plans on Monday, and we have a book club that we just started, and we can just connect with each other around what's working and what's not, which podcasts are resonating with you, how you're really just making it all work, living your healthy, balanced life. It's a place to support and connect each other. And I'm really, really working on building up that community because it is one of my favorite places on the internet. I love being able to connect with each and every one of you. So I would love if you joined us in there. I will put the link in the show notes for that, as well as anything else I mentioned in this episode. And that's it for today. I'm going to go ahead and hop off, and I will talk to you again on Monday. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of the Healthy Balanced Mama podcast. If you loved it, would you take a screenshot and share it with a friend over on Instagram and tag me in it? It helps me so much to know what you love and are taking away from each episode. If you really loved it, would you hop over to iTunes and give me a star rating and review? Every rating and review helps this podcast be seen and heard by more women who need to hear the message of balance and wellness without deprivation. It's the best free gift you could give me. And as a reminder, the information and opinions on this podcast are meant for education and inspiration only and are not to be taken as medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. Please consult with a trusted practitioner before making any changes. Have a beautiful day, friend, and I'll see you in the next episode.